The following is a Miracle Channel original program.
And welcome to Insight. I'm Paul Arthur. Our lines are open for your calls right across the country and beyond at 1-888-816-2545. Emails are also welcome, talking about, well, a number of issues wrapped up into one here, I guess, dealing with the homeless and feeding the poor, those kinds of things, preaching the gospel, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. This is dealing with the situation in Calgary with a street church and the always controversial Pastor Art Pawlowski. You've probably heard us talk about that in the last couple of weeks here. The long battle they've had with the city of Calgary over the right to use loudspeakers to preach to the downtown homeless. Went to court finally. It's actually a fairly lengthy trial, about 6 days long, and we thought we'd actually have a court decision to pass along to you today. But in fact, I guess the whole matter is so complex, it's been carried over, extended for another couple of days. I think it's going to be in the summer, something like that. So we won't have a result for you for a while yet. All right, but it is before the courts right now. One of the issues the street church is charged with is feeding the poor without a permit. That's one of the issues. The other issue being, again, using loudspeakers. So a question for you here. Is street church being persecuted? Right? They believe that's the case. Or is the city of Calgary correct in saying that, hey, street church simply should have obeyed our bylaws and everything would be fine? So are Christians being discriminated against? Yes or no in this case? Did the church or the city cross the line? Or maybe did they both cross a line somewhere? Okay? I want to hear feedback from you here today. As a matter of fact, we're going to be playing some video clips for you in this program here that'll give you an idea of what they're doing, and then you can call us back and say, hey, you know what, we think the city crossed a line, or no, we think Art Pawlowski crossed a line here. Okay? So, first of all, before I introduce our guests, I want to show you a brief video snapshot of what a street church is all about.
Church, it's time to go out and become fisher of men. It's enough of sitting in our pews and watching our neighbors to die. God says, go into all the world and preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. God did not call us to sit in our pews for all the world to die. He called us to go out in the mighty name of Jesus Christ, and signs and wonders and salvations will follow you. And I bless you with that commission, the commission of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Go.
It does give you an idea of what the street church is all about. They like to go and get things done. They don't back down from the tough stuff, that's for sure. All right, our guests are Pastor Art Pawlowski, as mentioned. If you want to check out their website, streetchurch.ca. And he also is the host of a program airing here on the Miracle Channel Saturdays at noon. That's called Evangelism in Action, all right, Saturdays at noon. And also with Pastor Art is Jim Blake. He's the chairman of the Concerned Christians Canada organization. Their website, concernedchristians.ca. All right, so why don't we first of all start with you, Art. It's been a while since you've been on the program. You've been busy, as always, in the meantime, though. For those of you, our viewers who aren't familiar with, street church and the background there, why don't you share some of that? I mean, you were arrested, I think initially, I know when I first kind of paid attention to what you were doing, I said, oh, here's a guy who's been arrested at, I think it was Calgary's Fringe Festival. That's right. I'm not sure how many years ago that was. You were arrested for, I think, preaching to some psychics, I think, at their booths during that festival in Calgary, and were arrested in the process, right?
No, I got arrested by 7 police officers because I read the Bible in public.
Oh, okay. This is right. You had some complaints, first of all, about the preaching,
right.
And then later on they came and arrested you for actually just standing in the park.
That's it.
Or even on a street corner. I don't know what it was, but it was on public property, and you were reading aloud from the Bible.
Public sidewalk.
And were arrested. Okay.
That's right.
Did none of that stuck, did it? I mean,
no, of course, it was thrown out. When the police officer put 7 criminal charges on me, obstructing, resisting arrest, like different things. And of course, you know that we carry camera with us, so everything was recorded. When the Crown prosecutor saw the camera, she actually thanked us that she was able to see this footage before it hit the courts, because she said, that's what she said, she would be greatly embarrassed.
Embarrassed by the whole thing,
By
okay.
the whole thing. So I was thrown out.
Okay.
I didn't have the chance really to sit down
Right.
on the criminal bench. It was just
Okay.
free to go.
All right, but at the same time, I mean, you know, you shouldn't be subjected to that kind of hassle from the police. There's no two ways about that. Now, since then, again, some tickets handed out for preaching with loudspeakers, you know, apparently breaking the city bylaws, and I know you're saying no, that's not quite true, right? And they handed out a myriad of other tickets, really, parking tickets, all kinds of things, because again, maybe you're not really breaking any noise bylaws, all right? And you had some creative ideas to get around that, to use some loudspeakers, but I understand in the last year you haven't really been using loudspeakers. They've really clamped down on that. Which limits, of course, how much you can preach, how far your preaching will go.
That's right.
In the downtown parks, preaching to the homeless, that sort of thing. So fill us in on the details there.
So what happened? We were using loudspeakers by the blessings of the city of Calgary. They give us permits. Everything was okay. They asked me to be there every day. I said no, it's too much. Kind of briefly summarizing what happened.
Yeah.
A few complaints started to come. Was 11 people that decided to complain. Within 4 years of the ministry operating, there were some powerful people, some business people that complained. Then the city decided to pull our permits back, even though the investigating officers stated in their own reports that the ministry is in compliance.
I remember seeing the actual report, the affidavit signed by one of the bylaw officers who checked out the noise complaint and said there's no noise violation here.
So when we find out about all those documents, when we received them from the courts, we decided to stand up for our rights. If the officers, you see, we are all for the law. We are law-abiding citizens.
Okay.
But if the city is lying about something, if the bureaucrats want to just have their way for whatever reason, they're targeting us unfairly, we decided to stand up and fight. We said, well, we are challenging you because your own officers are saying that what you're saying is not the truth. So they started to give us tickets for illegally barbecuing in a park, gathering a crowd, association, believe it or not. It's illegal according to the city bureaucrats. Bogdan received $100, one of the volunteers, $100 ticket for feeding people, and he was told by a high-ranking officer that he has no right of association with Street Church. He has no right to be in a public park.
Okay.
So we started to fight. More tickets were coming, but of course not for being too loud, like the whole media spin the story. It was for gathering a crowd, placing material in a park or on a sidewalk, about 80 of them so far.
80 tickets so far, okay.
Summons
Have you paid any of them yet?
Well, parking tickets, I think we did when we renewed.
Okay.
I didn't even pay attention to the parking tickets. But when the officers started to show up at my doorsteps, that's what really ticked me off. You know, the tactics of communism, kind of. Coming and intimidating my wife, bringing summons and tickets in front of my kids. They believe that if they can pressure my family, I will just quit. That made me really, really mad, and I said, no way. We had the lawyers, of course. We started to fight this. We said, you know what? This is bigger than Art Pawlowski and Street Church. This is a rights that are in danger, rights of every citizen of this country. So
basically, you're fighting for the right to use loudspeakers?
No.
That's what this court case is about, though. The court case is about that. Because you would like to use loudspeakers, right?
Well, that's part of it.
I'm just saying part of it is, in this particular case, is that you believe it's your, right as a Canadian citizen to use that, because these are, you're not breaking any bylaws, in your opinion. The city is arguing against that, saying, no, you're breaking bylaws. And then there's the issue of feeding the poor without a permit. Now, did you break the bylaw there? Or because I know, again, a couple things. You said you have all the training. They told you you have to get licensed to do that. So you got you got all your food training certificates, all that kind of stuff, whatever. Right. That was there. And they had given you permits before, and then they pulled your permits, right?
Yes. Well, I guess they wanted to make an example out of us. How dare you stand up against the whole government? Like, we are the power, you're nobody, kind of an attitude. And because we put up a fight, we said, no, you guys are breaking the law, not us. The whole fury of province kind of went against us. And the court that we just had, 6 days trial, it was about feeding people and using amplified sound. They say when we feed homeless, we are creating